Hi, Lions. It's so good to see you again for another lesson. Today, we're going to be focusing on common themes and author's purpose for writing a story while we begin reading the book Wonder. So you might be wondering, why is it important to identify the theme or the author's purpose for writing a story? When you think about these two big ideas in literature, an author is trying to give a gift to you. They want to teach you something, a broader message about life. And they use a story to be able to teach that to you or share that gift with you. So when we're able to identify the theme and the author's purpose for writing a story, we're actually unwrapping the gift that that author has given us. All right, so before we dive in, I want to give you a little analogy to help identify or to be able to determine the difference between a theme and the author's purpose, because it can often be confused. I like to think about a birthday party when I am thinking of the difference between a theme and a purpose or the author's purpose. So, for example, when my boys were little, they loved trains. My kids had every Thomas the Tank Engine train there possibly was. And so when they were really little, we had a train as a theme for their birthday party. So the theme was trains. It's what the party was all about. Thomas the Tank Engine. We had our pictures taken with Thomas. You can see Mr. Clifford and me and my two boys when they were really little. The party favors were trains. We had train tables set up. Everything about the party was a train. That was the theme. Okay. But our purpose for throwing the party really had nothing to do with trains. Our purpose for throwing the party was to celebrate our boys and to give them a special day so that they would remember their birthday. So the theme was trains, but our purpose for throwing the party was to celebrate our boys' birthday and to give them a special day. So they were related, but they are two separate things. You are going to find the same thing when you're reading literature. You're going to find a theme in the story, and then you're also going to figure out, well, why did the author write this story? I have some common themes listed up here, and I have some common purposes. And as we read Wonder, we'll start exploring those, okay? When we are coming across some ideas in the text, what I'll do is I'll stop and I'll just mark that page with a Post-it note so we know to come back to it at a later time. I want to put up here just to remind us that the themes are what the story is all about. Kind of like in my party example, the theme was trains. And the purpose is the why. So why the author wrote the story, or why I threw the party, okay? We threw the party, remember, to celebrate our children's birthday. All right, let me go ahead and get started. And if you have seen this movie, I know it came out a few years ago. One thing I want you to know, the book is always better. I don't think there's ever been a time where I've enjoyed the movie more than I have the book. So let's go ahead and read together. This is going to be a fun adventure for us. All right, part one. And part one says August. Fate smiled and destiny laughed as she came to my cradle. Ordinary. I know I'm not an ordinary 10-year-old kid. I mean, sure, I do ordinary things. I eat ice cream, I ride my bike, I play ball, I have an Xbox. Stuff like that makes me ordinary, I guess. And I feel ordinary inside. But I know ordinary kids don't make other ordinary kids run away screaming in playgrounds. I know ordinary kids don't get stared at wherever they go. If I found a magic lamp and I could have one wish, I would wish that I had a normal face that no one ever noticed at all. I would wish that I could walk down the street without people seeing me and then doing that look away thing. Here's what I think. The only reason I'm not ordinary is that no one else sees me that way. But I'm kind of used to how I look by now. I know how to pretend I don't see the faces people make. We've all gotten pretty good at that sort of thing. Me, Mom, and Dad, Via. Actually, I take that back. Via's not so good at it. She can get really annoyed when people do something rude. Like, for instance, one time in the playground, some older kids made some noises. I don't even know what the noises were exactly because I didn't hear them myself, but Via heard, and she just started yelling at the kids. That's the way she is. I'm not that way. Via doesn't see me as ordinary. She says she does, but if I were ordinary, she wouldn't feel like she needs to protect me as much. And Mom and Dad don't see me as ordinary either. They see me as extraordinary. I think the only person in the world who realizes how ordinary I am is me. You know what? I'm beginning to wonder. So far, there's been a lot of discussion about family. So I'm wondering if family might be a theme here. So I'm going to I jotted down on a Post-it note the page number, and then the sentence that makes me think that perhaps family might be a theme that's emerging. The part where it says Via doesn't see me as ordinary. Because so far this is all about his family. All right, let me keep reading. My name is August, by the way. I won't describe what I look like. Whatever you're thinking is probably worse. Why I didn't go to school. Next week, I start 5th grade. Since I've never been to a real school before, I'm pretty much totally and completely petrified. People think I haven't gone to school because of the way I look, but it's not that. It's because of all the surgeries I've had, 27 since I was born. The bigger ones happened before I was even 4 years old, so I don't remember those. But I've had 2 or 3 surgeries every year since then, some big, some small. And because I'm little for my age, and I have some other medical mysteries that doctors never really figured out, I used to get sick a lot. That's why my parents decided it was better if I didn't go to school. I'm much stronger now, though. The last surgery I had was 8 months ago, and I probably won't have to have any more for another couple of years. You know what, guys? One of the other common themes that we see in literature is perseverance. So I'm going to put a little flag next to perseverance because this might be a theme that's emerging. What makes me think that is he talks about how he's had 27 surgeries. So I'm going to mark this page as well because as you can see, this is a really long story and I might forget if I don't mark that page. Okay. So, and maybe I'll put on my little Post-it note, I'll put a P to stand for perseverance. Okay. That way, if I don't remember, it'll jog my memory later. And I'll put an F on that first Post-it note for family because I think family could possibly be the theme. Okay. Let me keep reading. And perseverance, just in case you probably know, but that's someone who does not give up. They can overcome really challenging obstacles. And this sounds true here in this story so far. Okay. Mom homeschools me. She used to be a children's book illustrator. She draws really great fairies and mermaids. Her boy stuff isn't so hot, though. She once tried to draw me a Darth Vader. but it ended up looking like some weird mushroom-shaped robot. I haven't seen her draw anything in a long time. I think she's too busy taking care of me and Via. I can't say I always wanted to go to school because that wouldn't be exactly true. What I wanted was to go to school, but only if I could be like every other kid going to school, have lots of friends and hang out after school and stuff like that. I have a few really good friends now. Christopher is my best friend, followed by Zachary and Alex. We've known each other since we were babies. And since they've always known me the way I am, they're used to me. When we were little, we used to have play dates all the time. But then Christopher moved to Bridgeport in Connecticut. That's more than an hour away from where I live in North River Heights, which is at the top tip of Manhattan. And Zachary and Alex started going to school. It's funny, even though Christopher's the one who moved far away, I still see him more than I see Zachary and Alex. They have all these new friends now. If we bump into each other on the street, they're still nice to me though. They always say hello. I have other friends too, but not as good as Christopher and Zach and Alex were. For instance, Zach and Alex always invited me to their birthday parties when we were little, but Joel and Iman and Gabe never did. Emma invited me once, but I haven't seen her in a long time. And of course, I always go to Christopher's birthday. Maybe I'm making too big of a deal about birthday parties. How I came to life. I like when Mom tells me the story because it makes me laugh so much. It's not funny in the way a joke is funny, but when Mom tells it, V and I just start cracking up. So when I was in my mom's stomach, no one had any idea I would come out looking the way I look. Mom had Via 4 years before, and that had been such a walk in the park, Mom's expression, and there was no reason to run any special tests. About 2 months before I was born, the doctors realized there was something wrong with my face, but they didn't think it was going to be bad. They told Mom and Dad I had a cleft palate and some other stuff going on. They called it small anomalies. There were 2 nurses in the delivery room the night I was born. One was very nice and sweet. The other one, Mom said, did not seem at all nice or sweet. She had very big arms, and here comes the funny part. She kept farting. Like she'd bring Mom some ice chips and then fart. She'd check Mom's blood pressure and fart. Mom says it was unbelievable because the nurse never even said, "Excuse me." Meanwhile, Mom's regular doctor wasn't on duty that night. So Mom got stuck with this cranky kid doctor she and Dad nicknamed Doogie after some old TV show or something. They didn't actually call him that to his face. But Mom says that even though everyone in the room was kind of grumpy, Dad kept making her laugh all night long. When I came out of Mom's stomach, she said the whole room got very quiet. Mom didn't even get a chance to look at me because the nurse immediately rushed me out of the room. Dad was in such a hurry to follow her that he dropped the video camera, which broke into a million pieces. And then Mom got very upset and tried to get out of bed to see where they were going. But the farting nurse put her very big arms on Mom to keep her down in the bed. They were practically fighting because Mom was hysterical and the farting nurse was yelling for her to stay calm. And then they both started screaming for the doctor. But guess what? He had fainted right on the floor. So when the farting nurse saw that he had fainted, she started pushing him with her foot to get him to wake up, yelling at him the whole time. "What kind of doctor are you? What kind of doctor are you? Get up, get up." And then all of a sudden, she let out the biggest, loudest, smelliest fart in the history of farts. Mom thinks it was actually the fart that finally woke the doctor up. Anyway, when Mom tells this story, she acts out all the parts, including the farting noises. And it is so, so, so funny. Mom says the farting nurse turned out to be a very nice woman. She stayed with Mom the whole time. Didn't leave her side, even after Dad came back and the doctors told them how sick I was. Mom remembers exactly what the nurse whispered in her ear when the doctor told her I probably wouldn't live through the night. Everyone born of God overcometh the world. And the next day, after I had lived through the night, it was that nurse who held Mom's hand when they brought her to meet me for the first time. Ooh, I've got goosebumps. I don't know about you. I'm kind of thinking here, guys, this is another example of perseverance that we'd flagged earlier. And so I'm just going to put page 7, and I'm going to put the P for perseverance, and the part where it said he wouldn't live through the night, but he did. Okay, so I marked my sticky notes so I know to come back to it later. Whew. Mom says by then they had told her all about me. She had been preparing herself for the seeing of me, but she says that when she looked down into my tiny, mushed up face for the first time, all she could see was how pretty my eyes were. Mom is beautiful, by the way, and Dad is handsome. He is pretty, in case you were wondering. Christopher's house. All right, we'll read this last chapter before pausing for the day. Christopher's house. I was really bummed when Christopher moved away 3 years ago. We were both around 7 then. We used to spend hours playing with our Star Wars action figures and dueling with our lightsabers. I miss that. Last spring, we drove over to Christopher's house in Bridgeport. Me and Christopher were looking for snacks in the kitchen, and I heard Mom talking to Lisa, Christopher's mom, about my going to school in the fall. I had never, ever heard her mention school before. What are you talking about? I said. Mom looked surprised, like she hadn't meant for me to hear that. You should tell him what you've been thinking, Isabel, Dad said. He was on the other side of the living room talking to Christopher's dad. We should talk about this later, said Mom. No, I want to know what you were talking about, I answered. Don't you think you're ready for school, Augie? Mom said. No, I said. I don't either, said Dad. Then that's it. Case closed, I said, shrugging, and I sat in her lap like I was a baby. I just think you need to learn more than I can teach you, Mom said. I mean, come on, Augie. You know how bad I am at fractions. What school, I said. I already felt like crying. Beecher Prep, right by us. Wow, that's a great school, Augie, said Lisa, patting my knee. Why not Via School? I said. That's too big, Mom answered. I don't think that would be a good fit for you. I don't want to, I said. I admit, I made my voice sound a little babyish. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do, Dad said, coming over and lifting me out of Mom's lap. He carried me over to sit on his lap and on the other side of the sofa. We won't make you do anything you don't want to do. But it would be good for him, Nate, Mom said. Not if he doesn't want to, answered Dad, looking at me. Not if he's not ready. I saw Mom look at Lisa, who reached over and squeezed her hand. You guys will figure it out, she said to Mom. You always have. Let's just talk about it later, said Mom. I could tell she and Dad were going to get into a fight about it. I wanted Dad to win the fight, though a part of me knew Mom was right. And the truth is, she really was terrible at fractions. Sounds like Augie has a great sense of humor. All right, guys, we're going to pause here for now. Just a reminder, themes are, usually you can tell it in one or two words. It's what is it about? The author's purpose is, why did the author write the story? Okay, we're going to come back to this. So far, we're predicting that perhaps perseverance or family could be a theme in this wonderful story wonder. I can't wait to continue reading. All right, Lions, I'll see you tomorrow so we can read some more. Have a good night.